gap, but eventually it ends up a 22-point final with a balanced and deep attack that has been what we knew, but has been enforced in this postseason. The irony being, remember the rotation of the Raptors being so deep, the story going into last playoffs, now not deep enough. How deep is your love of the song used to? I know you know that one, Haywood, for the Friday Night Live crew. You don't know that one?
Where are you going with this?
Come on, man. You're the only one not old enough. Smitty knows. He can sing it.
Okay,
You know
I know
that
how
too.
deep is your love?
It's a good song, man.
I know that one.
That's
Don't know how
the
this ties
leading
in,
shot
but
blocker
okay.
ever. Hey, look, man, I just watched the 20. It was a bell-to-bell 20-point game. All right? Things happen. B. Wood, Smitty, Stern, you'll hear from coaches and players along the way. The Bucks were questioned like they were a paper one seed, right? People said, they can't beat the Celtics, or I don't know if they have enough outside of Giannis. They've kind of doubled down on it because it hasn't been just one or two guys showing you they're enough. They've had 5 or 6 guys in now 2 weeks in a row consistently, Smitty, that have come through.
You know, defensively, they've taken Toronto out of their game, and give Chris Middleton a lot of credit. We haven't talked about him scoring a lot, but
Right.
he's been very physical with Kawhi, and Kawhi has scored big numbers, but it hasn't been a lot of help double-teaming Kawhi. Then also the others, they just haven't played well. The bench haven't played well for the Toronto Raptors, and I know they've been getting destroyed on the glass. I'm still scratching my head, B. Wood, why Serge Ibaka is not in the game just for rebounding purposes, just for being able to be active, and that's one of the areas right now. Loose balls, 50-50 balls, they are nowhere near competing with the Milwaukee Bucks.
To your point on Ibaka, Gasol tonight, 19 minutes, 1 of 9,
Ouch.
2 turnovers, 5 rebounds.
So you're saying that's not good?
Not good.
Okay.
He needs a nurse.
Hi, Nick. Tim Reynolds with the AP down here.
Oh, I do.
A disappointing night in general, but just how disappointing was it to come out, then just have them set the tone with that 9-0. I know it was just a couple of minutes, but it just seemed like when you start playing uphill against that team, that's not really a recipe for success, obviously.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think again, we you got your coverages and your things you're going to do at the beginning, and we just missed them early. Right, we were just a step too slow on just about everything, and I thought we, I talked about before the game how important shot contesting was, and I just didn't think we settled in with some space and gave them confidence early, and you just can't do that. I mean, we didn't do either thing very well tonight. I mean, we didn't do much well tonight, obviously, the way the game went.
Nick, Dan Winke, Los Angeles Times. Before game one, you had mentioned Ilyasova as a guy that can make sort of winning plays. How big of a thumbprint did he have on the game today?
Well, I thought he was very good, right? He stepped up and made a bunch of shots. He took a couple charges, but he wasn't the only one off the bench. I thought their bench guys came in and really, were when we kind of clawed back with bad start, we kind of got to like 14-9 right away, and then those guys came in and really took off. I think 17, 13, 14. That's 44. Okay, off the bench, that's pretty good, right? And that's Brogdon again. I thought had a great start to his game, and obviously we had a hard time. We weren't nearly as good on Giannis tonight. He was in the paint with a little too much force, more than we'd like tonight.
Michael Lee with The Athletic. What are you hoping that a change of scenery can do based on just how this result came? You think you're fighting uphill and never could break through?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to hope that. We didn't play very well tonight, and we did play pretty well in game one. And they've done what they're supposed to do and protect their home court, and we've got to go now do the same and get ourselves back in the series. But it's got to be more of an effort like game one than tonight, because again we were just uphill for almost 3 quarters tonight.
Yeah, Nick, Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. Speaking of that start where you guys have always seemed to answer calls and respond with effort, were you surprised or mystified why it didn't seem to be there from the start tonight?
I'm always surprised, Doug, when you don't start the game a little bit better, right? Especially you know that they're at home and they're going to come out with an extra, pep in their step, and we talk about that a lot. Like, hey, we gotta really focus on getting our defense set up at the start, because it's going to be extra fast. They're going to be coming extra fast with the home court and the excitement and the energy that everybody has to start the game, and. we just didn't do a good enough job of getting ourselves set up, and we just. Again, I got to look at it. Again, what it felt like to me and what I was telling them in the timeouts is we got to press up more on the shooters, right? We were I don't know, I can think of one. We went zone one time and got a stop, and we came down the next time, and it was late in the clock, and Mirotic had one in the corner, and Mark went out and contested him. It was a good contest, but it wasn't a full out contest, and we know the level of contest is going to affect these shots or not, and if you don't go with everything you got and jump high and really try to let them know you're right pressed up against them, then the chances of them going in are pretty good. And I thought, not picking on Mark, I thought there was several around the court where we were kind of there, but it just wasn't enough. Right, and I was continually asking us to press up harder into bodies and make them bounce and do something else other than just shoot over a slightly contested three.
Coach Sopan with the New York Times. I was wondering, in the third quarter, you guys cut it to 13 near the end. You guys had a little momentum there. Is there anything, particularly in that stretch run, is there anything that you saw tonight that you liked that you can take with you going into Game 3?
Well, yeah, I think. Again, going back to some keys to our series is we've got to continue to work, the offense for shots, right? And again, I sound like a broken record up here, but we had our share of wide open shots that could have at least stymied a little bit of the breakout in the score. But we got to make sure we continue to work for them. But listen, I thought again we just weren't quite physical enough, right? We weren't getting our screen set good enough. We weren't getting them off their screens good enough as well. And we're going to have to be better, or they're just gonna look bigger than stronger than we are. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. We got to play a little tougher.
Bruce Arthur from the Toronto Star. Nick, Mark got a bunch of shots early. Danny got a bunch. Those are guys you kind of wanted to get going. Did that just happen, or was that a concerted effort to get them touches? And how difficult is it when those guys aren't going for you?
Well, it made it pretty difficult, right? And again, some of that's designed and some of it's happening. Again, the way they're playing, especially with Mark, they're sending Lopez to the paint or to the rim all the time. So Mark's going to have his, and I don't know, geez, I feel bad for him. I mean, most of those went in and out. It's like he's a really good player. It's a really good scorer. And he was taking good shots, and he just couldn't buy one. Right. So, and I even said it the first time out, I think he was about 1 for 5 or 6 at the first time out. And I said, we got to get him let's go to him. Let's get him a bucket, and maybe we could kind of get him to see one go in. And again, they were good shots. But to answer your question, it makes it tough because we're taking what's there with guys that, Danny's a great shooter and Mark's a scorer. And those are guys that we need to step in and play. And they will.
Eric named The Athletic. A week ago, Brad Stevens had sat in that seat and said, what makes playing the Bucks so hard is that every possession, both offense and defense, they make you work. I'm curious what you think of that assessment through 2 games and just how hard it can be if, you do cut it to 13 and they're still going to give it to you that next possession. Yeah,
it is difficult. And I think, you get that thing. We got that thing to 13, and I think we had a timeout even in our ball, and Kyle made a hard driving layup. I think that he thought he got knocked to the side and threw it off the side of the backboard, and then the next time down, Kawhi got in a little tussle. But again, if you're gonna not get a good shot or turn it over, they're gonna put some pressure on you, right? And that is, I think they took it right to 19. I think it might have been 2 possessions of back-to-back threes or something, or maybe an and one or something. So. You did a lot of work to cut that thing in there, and it's kind of gone in a couple possessions. And I can, they do a good job of playing pace basketball and aggressive style of play, both ends.
Kate Burnett, TSN. Coach, can you talk about Norm Powell's performance tonight? You get 25 solid minutes, 6 of 9 from the floor. It's something that we've really needed throughout the postseason that you saw tonight.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see Norm. I'd planned on using him a lot more in the rotation. I think he fits in this series a little bit more with his speed and strength and athleticism, his ability to take it off the bounce. We're going to need that. So it was good to get him going. And I would imagine going forward he'll be a critical part of the series for our rotation. Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, so Nick Nurse talking about the game plan kind of maybe not working out the way that they thought. The Bucks out-toughed them a little bit. It helps when you have this guy in Giannis.
Goodness.
You get one miss, yeah.
That's the way you start off the game.
That is the definition of bully ball. Just throw it off the back of the backboard to yourself and dunk it. Come on, Raptors, what are you doing?
Watch this, Giannis, and how quick are they ahead? Trying to find everybody. Middleton, don't wait. 5 of 8, efficient from the floor, played good D.
Great pass.
Marcus Gasol, not as much good. A lot of turnovers. Only 5 rebounds, 1 of 9 from the floor.
Moving through London with the Euro step and then finish like that. Oh, I love it.
Love it. In the half for Giannis. More defense to offense and the others involved.
I thought George Hill was going to put him in the basket.
He looked like he was going to try him for a second.
Can we find out why Ersan Ilyasova plays on so many teams? He plays well on all these teams. 7 of 11 from the floor.
There's Malcolm.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Woo.
Lopez didn't have to have a big night. Mirotic helped out. He was very good at 15. Added 6 rebounds as well. Mirotic, Brogdon, Ilyasova, Smitty, 42 points in the first half.
Unbelievable. There's Giannis. I mean, B. Wood, he is just looking at guys, squaring them up and saying, I'm coming right through you. And then every once in a while, he'll try to go around you.
Bucks led by as many as 28. Kawhi trying to get him back in it. He had 31. The flip in from the free throw line and the foul he hit. The flip in from the free throw line and the foul he hit. The extra bucket, 15, was the lead. But then more trouble. While Toronto was forced to have it turned over, B. Wood, that's 1 of 6 steals for the Bucks. The Bucks had 27 assists and only turned it over 7 times.
Well, that's a recipe for success normally. If you get a lot of turnovers and then you don't give it up the other way, normally you win those basketball games.
And credit, look, even though he did not really play well or shoot well again, Eric Bledsoe, 7 assists, no turnovers.
Yeah, but I still think there's another level he can get to offensively. And Giannis, what a play right here. And one taking the bump off the glass. Inside, there's just nothing anybody can do with him one-on-one.
Not right now.
Nothing anybody can do with him one-on-one. And it's a strict power game. Everything is to the basket.
They're getting bullied right now.
Bully ball.
Getting bullied. No, it does not get bullied. Coach Bud. Bucks up 2-0.
We played on both ends of the court in the first half. Is what we're trying to, get to. I think defensively, 39-point quarter, I think, and it just fuels our offense. And, to come out and start game 2 with that kind of effort on both ends of the court, it's what you're looking for. I think a hiccup for us in the third quarter, we got to be better. But, I think we righted the ship and able to, finish the game. So, we just got to keep working, keep thinking about getting better.
But Tim Reynolds with the AP, to elaborate on the start a little bit, the building's obviously very electric, as it's been for you guys all year. When Giannis starts the game with a dunk, a block, and another dunk all in like the first 45 seconds, can you script a better way to get your team and this building going?
To script those first 3 possessions. And the block shot, to me, is the one that stands out. I think when Giannis is active and protecting the paint, protecting the rim, and he plays so hard. He just he lays it all on the rim, and he plays so hard. He just he lays it all on the rim. I think everybody fed off of Giannis and how he started the game. Nico obviously had a good start, and it's how you want to come into a game 2 or how you want to start a game 2.
Game Pittman with the pick and roll, Bud. Ersan tonight obviously had a strong performance during the second quarter when the game was still in the balance. He really sort of took over. What did you see from Ersan tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was fabulous. It was, I think clearly his best game of the year, and in a big moment for Ersan to step up. He's such a pro. We've been together for a few years now. It's just, have so much confidence and faith and trust in him, and his tough shots and everything he does defensively. And the whole bench. You look at George and Malcolm and just the production we're getting from our bench. And I think Pat does a lot of things that help us win too. So I think the bench continues to be a real strength for us. And Irsan just was off the charts tonight.
Ricardo Torres, Racine Journal-Times. Eric has seemed to be struggling in these first 2 games. Tell me what you say to him to help him get his confidence back.
I think Eric is confident. He's just got to keep shooting, keep playing. The things he does for us defensively, I think he had 7 assists tonight. And I think there's so much more to the sport than just, scoring and or making shots. And, of course, every time he shoots it, I want it to go in. But there's so many things that Eric Bledsoe's doing for us that's positive, that's helping us. We're winning. We're up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Bled's a huge part of that. So he's confident. He's ready to go. And, we'll just tell him keep shooting, keep playing, keep doing what he's been doing.
Eric named The Athletic, but they cut it down to 13 there. You guys get the timeout, get a stop, and then I think it goes Malcolm bucket, Malcolm to George. Just how big were those 2 for you guys specifically off the bench?
Yeah, that little stretch, I think we've had a couple spurts, including game 1 late where, we're able to get a stop and then we're able to get out and play quick in transition. And, tonight it was George that was kind of the recipient of it. Malcolm got the dunk the other night. Those are what we're looking for. The more of those we can get. It's hard to score on anybody in the playoffs in the half court. So if we can get out and run and get those easy ones, but that stretch, we weren't great in the third quarter. So, it'll be, opportunity for us to look at it, see how we can get better. But that stretch in transition was really good.
Gabe Stoltz, BrewHoop.com, sort of just dovetailing off that game 1. Toronto really contained George, holding him scoreless and 13 off the bench tonight. Just between these 2 games, what did you see as the biggest difference for him?
George was aggressive tonight. I think, he got a couple layups. It's always good when you get a couple layups. Just like the other night, Brooke got a few layups and, got some putbacks and things like that. It just builds your confidence. But George had played at such a high level for 4 or 5 straight games. I mean, he was, he was so important and so good in the Boston series. I think he just, he didn't have his best game in game 1, but, I think his mentality coming into game 2 tonight was great. And, I think it carried over to the court. And, he was very good along with the other guys.
Ben Steele, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. But you guys forced the Raptors into a lot of long 2s, contested jump shots tonight. What were you guys doing better defensively in this game?
We talked a little bit about, I thought we got better in game 1 towards the end. The fourth quarter, our defense got better. And I think some of that carried over into the first half. There was, you get a little bit of a rhythm. Our people, our guards, on the ball, taking individual pride, doing what we need them to do. And then the activity from the bigs we've been talking a lot about. Just all that, kind of working in concert, just making every shot they take tough, whether it's a 3, a 2 in the paint, no matter where it is, we want them taking tough shots.
Cody Grant, WOZN Radio. It seemed like Nico finally found a rhythm offensively, especially in that first half, but a lot of times his defense goes unnoticed, getting his hands in the passing lanes, guarding smaller guards like Danny Green. Just how big is he defensively for you guys?
Yeah, it's been great. I think, it's been a theme now for, a few games or, coming off the last series now into this one. I think Nico's, I don't know what the right word is, but I think he's just taking a lot of pride in showing that he can guard different positions and guard, wings and shooters and chase guys. And, he's doing little things in transition, getting back, showing crowds, finding shooters. Just really, and he's just got like an edge to him that I think's been good for our team. And we need him to continue to do that.
Craig Matzik and WTMJ. Bud, can you put into words, just given your experience, how challenging is it for a guy to come back into a playoff situation like Malcolm has, have it physically, mentally, from a conditioning standpoint, and really just fit right back into where he left off?
Yeah, it's, I feel fortunate to have been around a lot of good teams, and I can't think of a guy that's, emerged in the second round in a game, I think 4 and 5, and now into 1 and 2 that's come back and almost picked up right where he left off. He was so good for us all year, 90, 50, 40, and does so many things. And
I think, certainly from my perspective, what he's been able to do, I just thought, if we could just get him back going and he could, he's exceeded all of our expectations, and he's done it all year. So, and he's such a pro. I guess we should. This is what we expect from Malcolm.
Coach Vince Goodwill from Yahoo Sports right here. When you look up and down this roster, so many guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. Is that kind of what you envision when you're looking at the rotation, and how difficult is that for other teams to game plan and guard against?
Yeah, I mean, we want guys that are basketball players that, have high IQs that can do, like you said, dribble, pass, shoot, can make reads, make decisions. And, we try and, develop them. We try and empower them. We try and play a way where they all feel like they can contribute and do things. And, hopefully that's paying off for us. And guys appreciate it. And I think they grow and develop here. And, Giannis and Chris and Bled, they do a great job of empowering their teammates, trusting their teammates, and letting their teammates play. And it's what they've done all year, and we need it to continue.
Coach Peter Bukowski, Dime Magazine, you said after game one you weren't going to change the way that you played in the playoffs. You wanted the guys to keep shooting, to keep playing the way that you want them to play. In the playoffs, though, usually we see rotation shorten, we see more isolation basketball, and you haven't done that. Does a game like tonight give you confidence that that approach is the right approach and can work in these big games?
Well, I mean, we're going to lose some games, and we're going to keep doing what we've been doing all year. It's like you can't just base it on, the results. Obviously, tonight was a huge positive. The guys have learned a way to play. They believe in it. We believe in it. And, the more positive results you get, sure, it reinforces it. It just, lets them know that nothing's going to change. And, I think we'll just continue that going into game 3, win or lose, going into game 4. It's everybody's built their habits. Everybody to some degree is who they are. Now you just got to go out and execute and do what you've been doing.
Two more. We got Dan and then Jeff.
But Dan Wecke with the Los Angeles Times. On a night when Giannis has 30 and 17, I'm sure there were some shots he'd like back and some passes maybe he'd like back. What's it like to coach a guy where 30 and 17 is like a good night, but there's more there still?
Yeah, it's I'm beyond fortunate to have Giannis, and it's how you describe it is true. He's incredible, and then you're like, wow, I think he can be even better. And the great part about Giannis is he wants to be better, and we're coaching him and we're on him, and we think he can be doing more, and he just soaks it up. And it's just so unique to have a player like that just wants to be great, and you feel like has more, and yet he's been phenomenal. And so, it's exciting for us, for tonight and going forward. And you can't say enough good things about Giannis.
Jeff Zoggy, USA Today. I'm back here, Mike.
Yeah, Jeff.
You mentioned the third quarter. What's the challenge headed into Game 3? They can't afford to go down 3-0. So, from your vantage point, what do you guys need to guard against? What is that challenge?
Yeah, in a strange way, I think looking at third quarter tonight to see, how they end up with 39 points. That's just, that's a huge quarter. And where did we break down? Where were we not as good as we need to be? And hopefully that'll give us, a little bit of a roadmap to what to expect in Game 3. And, we're always looking for ways to get better. And we want to stay hungry. We want to go out there and, continue to just focus on our defense, make that our identity, and, see what happens in Game 3. All right, thank you.
All right, there's Coach Mike Budenholzer. The Bucks are up 2-0 after winning both games at home, and we feel right at home as we get up to Jersey, get a chance to welcome in Joe Borgia, Senior Vice President, Replay and Referee Operations. Joe, got one play from tonight's game with just 1:30 plus remaining in the first quarter. Serge Ibaka goes up for a layup. Pat Connaughton appears to contact his hand while defending the shot. So take me through, is it a situation where the hand is considered part of the ball in this case?
Casey, that's exactly what happened on this play. So our general rule is the hand is part of the ball. To be more specific, whatever part of your hand is in contact with the ball may be legally touched by an opponent. So if it's your fingers, I can hit your fingers. What you're going to see here, Connaughton comes from behind, and Ibaka has the ball completely in his hand, his fingers and his palm. Therefore, Connaughton technically is hitting the ball and not his hand. If that ball shoots out of bounds, it's going to be off of Connaughton because he technically hit the ball because Ibaka's hand was part of the ball.
All right, Joe, always appreciate the time. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch up with you next time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, there he is, Joe Borgia, kind enough to join us for a couple and take us inside. Next time, maybe he can take the Raptors inside the How to Defend Giannis book no one's been able to find.